Alright, so this is my first reaction video. Y'all make sure to subscribe, like down in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about these videos. Let me know if y'all fuck with these shits. We got a cart, we got a vape, for the vid. We're gonna be reacting to Bloodhound Lil Jeff getting paid hits on camera that have gone viral. So I got inspired to do these videos watching Matt Moolah. If y'all don't know who that is, check him out. He has some fire reactions. He be smoking that shit. It's some fire shit. But let's get into the video. Oh shit, what the hell?
Milwaukee that left two brothers and a rapper dead, or a broad daylight hit on a teen in a parked car, allegedly revenge for a Jeff had nothing to do with. The names keep popping up. Anthony Thompson, Clarence Harris, Clifton Pate Jr. each tied to whispers about out-of-town and a for cash operation that crossed city lines like it was nothing. Jeff wasn't moving alone either. He had the Bloodhounds with him, Chicago shorties ready to crash for the right price. And for a while, Milwaukee became their hunting ground. But if you move like that, it always catches up, whether it's the law or someone deadlier than you. Bloodhound Jeff's paid hits. According to street rumors, Lil Jeff's first
Mind you, bro, if y'all don't know, this dude is supposedly has 11 hits and he was a rapper and he used to rap about this shit. This dude is wild. He was, I think, only 19 and he was doing all this shit. So, like, he hopped out the porch hella, like, young and was doing all this shit. So, shit is crazy. But let's get into it.
paid hit in Milwaukee wasn't just a body. It was a triple homicide that shook the whole city. On March 27, 2022, three men were found execution style inside an apartment on 54th and Mill Road. Two of the victims were brothers. One was tied into Milwaukee's rap scene, and all three were allegedly while they were asleep. The next day, the city held a vigil, but in the streets, the whispers already started. Bloodhound.
Are you having trouble trying to keep up with your professor? You've got to try Otter. Here's how it works. Let's say I'm in class.
Lil Jeff slid from Chicago and got paid to do it. The victims were Anthony Big Juice Thompson, Thyaris McKenna, and Clarence Harris, all found with fatal wounds. Milwaukee PD admitted one of them was allegedly selling out of the same apartment. That made the motive easy to guess, but no arrests were made. However, the did not stop there. On September 4th, 2023, Trap City Leal was and while sitting in a parked car near 58.
Now the layout one, I heard about this one. I've actually watched Mac Moolah's video. I actually literally just watched that bit literally last night. I can't lie to you. And this was revenge on fuck Trap City for they killing them homeboy. Some dude named that's all with a Z. Some shit. I was geek as hell. I'm geek right now. Don't mind it, but that's what that was on. But yeah, I'm just trying to get y'all some background information. But if y'all didn't know that, let y'all know.
And Fairmount, another Milwaukee hit, another alleged get back. This time, retaliation was for the death of a local named Chevy. And while the exact Bloodhound responsible was never confirmed, the streets say it was another paid slide by Jeff, or at least one of his homies. But since the Bloodhounds moved as a unit, figuring out who exactly pulled the trigger was impossible. They hit together. They left together. Nobody talked. However, a song by Q50 reinforced the rumors even more. When I ran up on that car, his looked up and he was stuck. And that's not all. Milwaukee rapper Cracks dropped a line in his song Bloody Tears that directly addressed the rumors surrounding Lil Jeff and the alleged Milwaukee hits. In the middle of the track, Cracks raps, "Johnny say enough, but I ain't pay nothing." The line might sound simple on the surface, but in context, it hits heavy. First, it confirms that Jeff really was spinning in Milwaukee, and second, it shows that multiple people were allegedly paying him. Jeff wasn't just dropping bodies, he was being moved like a chess piece, a Chicago crash dummy used by Milwaukee plugs with money and motive, and the bodies kept adding up.
So Jeff not really.
So the videos of him hopping out the car into the dude's house.
That's the demon. That's the, they jump in your body. Listen, gang, they jump in your body and make you do things you wouldn't normally do. Listen, ask his mom, did he come out the womb?
Seems like he actually normally was doing that.
No, ask his mom, did he come out the womb? If that's what he did, he would the womb. Demon jumped in him and turned him to a killer.
What really made it happen is he didn't make the basketball
team. It's the same demon that jumped into grave digger quiz and made him.
The relationship between Milwaukee trappers and Chicago Bloodhounds wasn't built on loyalty, brotherhood, or any kind of long-term alliance. it was strictly transactional. Milwaukee had the money. Chicago had the shorties willing to slide for a price. The Bloodhounds, already known for putting in work across the east side of Chicago, found themselves being outsourced like a hit squad. Milwaukee didn't have to risk their own hitters anymore. All they had to do was send word and send cash, and Jeff and his circle would handle the rest.
One thing that's better than sex. Now, that right there go hand in hand with sex. That right there, now that shit feel like I was gonna do it.
But it wasn't one-sided. Jeff and his homies weren't victims. They wanted to be used. They were already out in the field catching bodies without pay. So if someone was...
That boy was addicted to killing. Did y'all see the way he talking about something better than sex? I ain't never heard nobody say that. That boy was possessed, I'm telling. This is proof, bro. Like, when I hear about this boy, I'm starting to get chills now because I've done so much, like, research. Different.
willing to hand over a few racks for something they were already on, they saw it as a win. The mentality was clear. If we're already crashing, we might as well get paid. There was no pressure needed, no convincing. The line between being sent off and signing up didn't exist for them. And in their minds, there was no difference between a local hit and an out-of-town one. Violence was violence. It didn't matter what city it landed in. However, if you move this way, it's only a matter of time before it catches up to you, whether it's the law or someone deadlier than you. Jeff was tapped in with BKN, also known as Nitty Block, a crew connected to Jungle, a set out west. Jeff wasn't just sliding through for show. He was in the trenches with them, posted on the block, and even showing love publicly on social media. There's footage of him standing in the jungle like he belonged there. No tension, no problems, until there was. It all shifted when two BKN members, Monty and Lil Rob, flipped the script. The robbery they pulled off wasn't just grimy, it was flat out disrespectful. Jeff was in the lobby of a building, chilling with Monty and Rob when they asked to see his watch. Jeff, thinking it was love, handed it over. In seconds, they took off running with it. No warning, no struggle, just a straight violation. Days later, Monty doubled down. In a BKN vlog posted by Word from the Trenches, Monty FaceTimed Jeff while laughing and flexing the same watch they took from him. Jeff was heated, trying to get their drop, but by then, the damage was done. 6 days after that FaceTime video went up, January 26th, 2024, Monty and Lil Rob were walking near Innovations High School downtown during lunch. It was broad daylight. The sidewalks were packed. Suddenly, two cars pulled up, jumped out and lit the block up. Monty and Rob got hit and dropped instantly. 3 weeks later, Lil Jeff dropped his most talked about track yet. In it, he laid everything out in plain terms. They did what they did, so they had to pay the consequence. We hopped out with 4 poles and 2 Ients got hit. When I speak, it's only facts. He was screaming ah when he got hit. Every line.
And see, bro, when I hear them lyrics, I just got chills. Cause he know what he did and he don't give a fuck. He don't care about going to jail. He don't care about niggas spitting on him. He addicted to killing, bro. Like, this shit is crazy. Like, this shit is actually fucking crazy, bro. Like, the more y'all, like, the more I do these reaction videos, especially on him, y'all gonna see, like, this dude is different in the head. Like, they need to do, like, a psychological study on this dude. Like, it's insane.
Line hit harder when you remembered the viral footage of Monty screaming on the ground. Jeff wasn't hiding what happened. He was owning it bar for bar. However, where does Jeff's darkness come from? Turns out, he wasn't always like this. Childhood trauma, from kid to Lil Jeff didn't come into this on demon time from the jump. He actually had something else. By his own words, basketball was his first lane. But when he got cut from varsity at 16, he realized fast that hoop dreams don't pay the bills in the hood. That same year, his older brother brought him into the streets, and from there, it was on.
Coming to my live book launch event will not guarantee in any way that you will end up on a private jet, have a Lamborghini.
So I wonder what you were doing at 16.
I was 16. Around that time,
you were doing the Soldier Boy.
I was trying to play basketball, but that's around the time I ain't make the varsity team. So at 16 was when I was realizing real. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Cause you know, after that point, it's like once you don't make that team.
By 18, he was fully locked into the Bloodhound business. But this wasn't just a clique of hotheads. Bloodhound big homies were moving serious weight, and when you're pushing work like that, you need a couple dudes who ain't afraid to handle beef, threats, or anybody messing with the money.
I caught me some action. Yeah, what up, Joe? How you coming? You ever seen one of these? You think you can run from this? Get your back. You can. Hey, try to run. See how fast? I'll get out this car right now. Look. Now I'm just playing. Hey. I love you, Bleed.
Before Milwaukee even picked up the phone, Bloodhound Lil Jeff was already knee-deep in bodies on the east side of Chicago. He and his right-hand Q50 weren't rappers, weren't corner boys. They were known in the city as straight crash dummies who actually slid. Allegedly, by the time Milwaukee even knew Jeff's name, he and Q50 were already putting in serious work for the Bloodhounds, one of the most feared sets moving through the South Shore. That's where Milwaukee comes in. Milwaukee trappers had ties to Jeff's big homies through dope connections, and once they saw what Jeff was willing to do in Chicago, they started sending for him, not just for backup, for bodies. Street sources say Jeff was allegedly paid multiple times to slide in Milwaukee, even confirming he had at least 6 bodies tied to out-of-state hits. And this wasn't hearsay. Milwaukee dudes admitted they were calling up Jeff and Q50 to keep their own hands clean. Jeff's name was echoing through Milwaukee blocks before anyone even met him. The internet couldn't tell if he was from the US or overseas. Some thought he was UK drill, just from how often his name came up in bodies.
Okay, so you got this reputation, man. You got this crazy reputation.
Shit.
You feel me? How do you move through Chicago? Do you feel like you probably got a target on your back?
Hell nah, these niggas scared, man. I'm outside every day, they ass ducking. I never see people on live dropping my low, showing their ass where I'm at. We be outside every day.
And once the money started flowing, the hits picked up fast. Milwaukee didn't need Chicago to handle their issues, but they chose to outsource the violence anyway. Because in this game, it's easier to pay to bury one of your own.
Killed because of Chevy, right? And the person that Mook, like I keep telling you, is Bloodhound Jeff from Chicago. He was paid to Mook by the GBG gang, and I don't think you understand that.
This nigga straight snitching on niggas in the interview. Hell no.
Jeff, bro. It was affiliated with that. It's close, but it was not Jeff, bro.
But it's not close, gang, because listen, you saw the
No, it was Bloodhound, but it wasn't Jeff.
Gang, it was Bloodhound, but it was Jeff. Because listen, if you Bloodhound and you connected with Jeff, you don't know who doing the hit, right? It's under their tag. Just like if you go to McDonald's, you don't know who made the fries.
You know who did it, bro. It's their most turned rapper right now.
But you don't know who did it. Like if you go to McDonald's, they most turned person making the fries probably don't make your fries that day. So you don't really know.
Bro, you stupid as
Come on, gang. How am I stupid? I'm just keeping it real. So how do you know, right? It got everything to do with it because I'm telling you it was Bloodhound Jeff, right? So if you understand that it was Bloodhound Jeff that did it, that you will understand that, gang. So I want to confirm that, bro, because you know Mook. Now Mook was a gangster, right? But I ain't heard really no gangster stories about Mook, right? Tell me about Mook.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. Mook wasn't no gangster, bro. Mook was a fashion designer, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Mook, he used to do like TikToks and little stuff like that. He was a nerd and little stuff like that. You know, he was just getting a little money.
Right. So why they say?
But other than all that killing, no, he got wrapped in that because of his family, bro. His family, BBM, they off the east side.
So what kind of shit was his family doing to make him? Everybody think he? Because everybody vouching in Milwaukee, telling me he. They like,
no, because his family was really getting busy. Like you seen the older clap a 16-year-old. Like it was nothing.
No, the older nigga that clapped the
Them
16-year-old.
niggas don't care.
Come on, gang. You still talk about that. The older listen, I'm always in St. Louis, gang. And listen, I'll be always
a bloody downfall. Fast forward a few years, right when it looked like Jeff was untouchable, the streets flipped again. Not long after the Monty and Rob situation, Jeff pulled up to Trap City's hood. He spotted Trap City Glenn, the one in yellow shorts, who took off running into a house. Jeff chased him up the porch, the door still swinging. But before Jeff could get inside, Trap City Rob was already waiting. He upped it and fired.
This where Jeff got killed.
Okay, if there's one AI site builder you need to meet, it's this dope tech from Wix.
Lil Jeff didn't get a mural. He got sprayed. On June 8, 2024, reports started flooding in from Chicago's east side. A man had been at least a dozen times in broad daylight near 66th and Rhodes. Moments later, videos began circulating of a body slumped in the street, cooling fast as sirens echoed in the distance. The footage wasn't verified, but the streets already knew. Word spread fast. Bloodhound Lil Jeff was gone. Jeff wasn't a mainstream name. He wasn't charting or signing major deals, but in the drill underground, and especially in that lane of feared steppers, his name had weight, not for bars, for bodies. By 21, Lil Jeff was already the centerpiece of at least a dozen street rumors tying him to in both Chicago and Milwaukee. Many of them suspected paid hits. He was a bloodhound, part of a set known for real pressure, not rap beef. And now, his life had ended the same way many of his alleged targets had. Gunned down in the middle of the street, caught lacking in his own city.
Well, Bloodhound Lil Jeff got 12 times, and you actually talked about this.
19. 19, man. Stood over. Hey, Vlad, man, like, crackhead tendencies, man. Crackhead things get you crackhead results, man. They was running around Chicago. Even their parents knew it. I seen his parent, both his parents say, y'all ain't him. He came to y'all.
Reports say it happened near a Hyundai Santa Fe with over 45 shell casings on the ground. That wasn't a warning. That was an execution. Witnesses say the victim was hit 12 to 15 times, mostly in the chest and upper body. No suspects were caught. No arrests made. Chicago artists started posting tributes within hours. Drill pages lit up. Peers who worked with Jeff confirmed that the energy was off. Lil Scoom posted, "I love you, I'ma be with you real soon." Another artist, AMF Visuals, dropped a broken heart over Jeff's photo. The emotion was real. But in this world, emotion doesn't stop bullets. Jeff's death didn't just send a wave through the music scene. It closed a chapter in an ongoing war. One of the city's youngest alleged hitters, used by Milwaukee, respected in the streets, feared by ops, was gone before he could even see 22. The alleged bodies he left behind, the paid hits he was tied to, and the name he built off silence and fear, all of it ended in...
Bro, that shit low-key sad as hell. And that shit give me chills just hearing that, bro. Like, he was that young. And lost it in a snap of a finger. And by choice, yeah, but that shit still sad as hell.
A pool of on South Roads. The police haven't confirmed the identity, but the streets already wrote the obituary. And if what people say about Jeff is true, then someone just collected on a long-standing tab. Pages tied to Milwaukee started posting cryptic messages, hinting at dates and connections only known to those in the loop. One of those dates lined up with the hit that shook Milwaukee, adding to the rumors that Jeff had not only slid for money, but had built enemies in both cities. The coded language used in the captions pointed to Jeff catching major hate. Street talk for the type of move that turns you into a target with a bounty on your name.
It's the nigga, we in the same household. You know what I'm saying? We waking up every day popping out with each other. You feel me? Like this who got my back through whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, he going against the whole world for me, it's vice versa, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I ain't really know, like, I ain't gonna lie, that's, I always say number one rule, don't panic, but that time I panicked, like, I was like, cause I was going crazy, like, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, the fuck going on with me right now?
Jeff's impact. Even though Jeff never confirmed anything on record, his public image told the story. He carried himself like someone who expected retaliation, someone who knew his name was heavy in the streets. His tone, his interviews, and the way he spoke about how people approached him in public all hinted at a reputation that stretched beyond the city where he was raised. By then, he wasn't just known in Chicago. Milwaukee knew his face too. The street-level respect he had came with weight, and that weight eventually crushed him. What makes Jeff's story so dangerous is what it represents. It shows how easily local beef can become a national business. Once Milwaukee figured out it could fund violence without getting its own hands dirty, a new blueprint was born. One city fronted the money, another city supplied the muscle, and when the work was done, the went back across the state line like nothing had happened. Street violence through drug networks isn't just about who runs the block anymore. It's about who controls the pipeline. Once local trappers stack enough money and build the right connections, the violence stops being personal and starts becoming strategic. What used to be neighborhood beefs over corners and pride has turned into something bigger, colder, and harder to trace. Now, it's about power, territory, and maintaining control over routes, supply, and customers. And when that control gets threatened, the response isn't just a fistfight or a warning. It's a paid hit, a body dropped in silence. That's where crews like the Bloodhounds come in. They're not just banging for colors. They're muscle for hire in a growing underworld economy. Milwaukee trappers didn't call on Jeff and his crew because they were reckless. They called them because they were proven. Chicago was already in a state of war, and the shorties out there were used to moving on call. So when Milwaukee needed enforcement, they didn't look in their own backyard. They looked down Interstate 94, and they found willing soldiers. The drug networks behind this kind of violence move differently. They don't post about it. They don't in the open. They handle things surgically, through hitters with no emotional ties to the target. It makes the violence cleaner, harder to solve, and easier to repeat. Once the blueprint is there, money, no connection, it becomes a system. And as long as there's product to move and profits to protect, the bodies won't stop.
I'm taking school. Class start next week. You gotta at least have 2 bodies though. For I ain't coming with no. You ain't got. I can't work with no beginners, folks. You gotta at least have a 2. I'm gonna give y'all 2 minimum. I'm gonna start at 2 minimum, cause y'all know where I'm gonna start at 2 minimum. Now I'm just doing this. I'm gonna start at 2 minimum, man. 2, you gotta have a minimum of 2. No, anything, you gotta have 2. You gotta have a minimum of 2 of them bitches to come to school. You just gonna sit your dumb.
However, many would argue that we've seen this type of work by rappers before, with King Von. King Von was the face of Chicago's new generation of drill, a storyteller, a stepper, and a symbol of how close the line between rapper and become. His name rang out not just for the music, but for the body count whispered behind it. He represented a style of street violence rooted in personal beef, retaliation, and block pride. Von slid for names he knew. He dissed dead ops on the tracks. He beefed with faces, not cities. Everything he did was tied to O-Block, to his crew, to a war that started right outside his building.
Same old phone? Nah. Upgrade to the new Galaxy Z Fold 7.
But Lil Jeff was different. Jeff didn't move for fame. He didn't chase a rap career. He wasn't storytelling. He was working. Where Von's violence came from loyalty to his block, Jeff's violence came from transactions. He wasn't spinning for clout. He was allegedly spinning for cash. Milwaukee didn't bring him in because he was a star. They brought him in because he was efficient, quiet, and willing. Jeff wasn't beefing on Instagram. He wasn't tagging ops in songs. He was sliding out of state, dropping bodies for people he didn't even know. Just names and locations passed through plugs. That's not drill culture, that's contract work. Jeff became the face of a new generation, a step removed from the Von era, where the clout came with cameras and rap careers. Jeff and his circle didn't need that. They moved quietly, off radar, doing work for whoever had the money. In the streets, it wasn't just about fame anymore. It was about fear. And for a while, Jeff was winning that game.
Nigga caught for that shit when now he tryna read the Bible. I don't give a fuck about you, wanna change your life, the mother still common sense. Hey, I'm still riding with that foot, running around this bitch on buggy. Don't got a mask, tighten up that hoodie, switch to splash, and we so gushy. AC jam, I tried to cook it, falling out the boys some rough. I tried to overkill, I cut it. Niggas old and scared to doodle his name. Telling me I should. These the niggas that came here to dog on back to why you cut it. So they fat that bitch for cut. You can't even block way, twatch off all you niggas pussy. Let me quiet, so me and my niggas be outside. Shoot that switch from that big side, hold on.
Whether he was responsible for all the bodies tied to his name might never be proven. But Milwaukee trappers believed in his work. They believed enough to send money, enough to drop names, enough to distance themselves when the spotlight came. That belief alone left a trail of bodies and connected two cities through blood, silence, and money. The full truth is buried somewhere between unsolved street codes and a new kind of interstate violence that doesn't care what block you're from, only what you're willing to do when the money's right. If you like this video,
So that's the end of the video. This shit is crazy. I'm finna drop like 3 more videos for y'all, so y'all stay tuned. I'm finna get on my YouTube grind now that my homeboys started school and shit, and I don't start college till like a week and shit, so I'm gonna try to get some videos dropping for y'all. But y'all stay tuned. Y'all make sure to like, subscribe, all that shit. Fuck.